Mishpat from Rav Kook. It's called Be'er Eliyahu. It's a small book. I'm trying to get it. It's very hard to get it. It's not sold in the stores. Versteht sich?
Mishpat. Yeah.
And it's what does he do? He takes a gra on two lines that the gra says, or one line they says, he has a whole
Right.
Kol HaTorah Kulo under, backing him up and this and that. It's called Be'er Eliyahu. You understand why, right?
Yeah.
Eliyahu Me'er Bilna.
Explaining each little, yeah.
Yeah, it's a. I'm not a big fan of obviously of Rav Kook's ideas, but when it comes to Islamdus is lehafli.
Yeah.
It's not normal. He was a gone adir. You could see. I mean,
Right.
he throws himself with
How he
Rambams.
can dissect every
He gives you every money mokum in you that you could imagine, and he's a good bar masber too. That you mamish understand the Shulchan Aruch. It's like anyway. I just wondered if you knew about the Sefer. That's all.
No, I did not know about the Sefer.
He has a Hilchos Dayonim mostly, I think.
Right.
Okay, entschuldigt für die Stellung. Let me learn, yes.
Yeah, no, but it's true. It's but the thing is, ultimately, we need both, because idea is that we go over it like this, fine tooth,
Yeah.
and then he goes over it to what's it called, to make sure we have
I could ask him this in the middle
Oh, yeah,
thing
no,
without
100%.
going through but it's the question itself takes time. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Right. No, but we could even ask him on the side,
How do I do that?
on WhatsApp. We can and he'll what's it called, and
You mean in the Leman Yilmadu WhatsApp, that one? I could do that.
no, you do it. You could either you could do it there also. Yeah, so everybody so everybody
Or
could benefit, or directly to him, or even on the group. Then everybody gets to
how do I get directly to him?
his on his he's on the on his you just you can private message him from his
Private
number.
message. Okay, fine. Very good. I'll do that. Very good.
Okay, so Yud Gimel in the Mechaber Machar Habayis. We're just talking. And Machar Habayis Ay Nasno Ay Heirishe. Punkt that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't notice, Taka. Seid mir nicht Choshen. Ich habe nur geguckt vor euch. I mean, I only looked before. I didn't look
Right,
further.
yeah,
I was busy.
but the Mechaber already knew what you were looking at. So
Yeah, he knew. Oh, he knew. Yeah.
Machar Habayis Ay Nasno Ay Heirishe, right? So either he sold it or he gave it to somebody, or his inheritor took it, yeah. Ein hasheni yochel hitziyei ad sheyediyei mikedim lamed yom, ein mikedim yud beis chedesh, right? Or even though he doesn't say it here, or gimel shana in the case of certain businesses. Shahari aseicher eimerlei ein keichach hayeser mikeach zeh shezachis bevayze. Your rights are certainly no more than the guy who you got it from, either who sold it to you, or who gave it to you, or who you inherited it from. So certainly, most certainly, your keach is not more than his. So he hasn't established if it's less than his, but for sure he's established that it's not, and he hasn't compared here. He hasn't compared the differences right now between a lekech and a yerish. But one thing is certain, that not an inheritance, and not the recipient of a gift, and not a buyer, none of them have more kayach than the one they got it from. Because at best you could say they're buying the deal from him or inheriting the deal from him. So for sure they don't have any more kayach. So therefore anybody who now acquires the property has the same obligations to the tenant that the original landlord had. Smeh Yud Tes Mekedim Yud Beis Kedesh Pirush Bekrachim Mashkos V'Leil Sivov, and obviously also for those specific businesses, it'll apply also the 3 years. Yud Dalid. Let me see. Is nothing else? Is there anything from the Shach on here? No Shach on Yud Gimel. Fine. I just want to see if somebody mentions this. The Gimel Mecharabayis. Interesting. In that Goyis Rakov here, you see Macharabayis Dafka Shekonostam. Aval im ein halikeach reitze liknes ache yetzi zem meabayis yetzi bal korche. Sheli ola al da sheyomus berov. So apparently there are some situations, meaning if he already bought it, then he has to, and he bought it bistam, then he has to all take on all the same things. But apparently there are cases which make sense because, like we said by the case of the guy who his house is a mashkin to akum.
Yeah.
That in that case it's an extreme situation. We basically consider it similar to you're not to him saying why to nuffle basically.
Yeah.
So the same thing here. If we see the dafka shekona stam, right? But if the guy isn't willing to buy it, and I mean we're assuming this is in a situation where the daf gets in an extreme situation where the owner's going to go like pushed hungry, or he's in a very bad spot and he's going to lose the house and the chulu. So in that case we would make him leave without even being made dia. Anybody else say anything on Yud Gimel? No. Okay, good. So that's Yud Gimel. Okay, Yudalit in the Mechaber. Makim sheneyagim sheyesh lahem reish shana kavua l'tzchilas abotim. V'ruven tzachar arbais mishimin l'shana achas. Ve'achar shecholso hashana nishar nishar babayis. Wait, babayis. 1 second. What's he saying here? Achaydish echad. He stayed an extra month. V'loy dibru ze'im ze'klum b'schiru shana haba'a. V'rotza Ruven lotzeis me'abayis. V'shimin ba'akiv al yadi sh'loy lotzeis ad tashlum shana shniya. Hadinim Shimin. So the case here is we're in a place, right, which like we learned and like the Aruch Shulchan it talks about. In these halachas, it's not about the cut and dry situation, what it is. It's about, we're assuming being that it's every when things were bistam and there was no discussion. What are the assumptions that we make the understanding was? So when we're in a place that the understanding is known to be a certain way, that overrides what we're saying here. Why? Because we can be totally that that's their understanding. Because in this place, in this time, the understanding it generally works this way. So whenever you have a case that's bistam, we can assume this to be the understanding. So if we're in a place and they have a set time in this place where all the rentals happen, and the rentals are always, let's say it's a college town, I don't know, and all the rentals happen from September or whatever, or from September through the following August, and that's because it's a college town, right? Reuven is in there; he has the house for a year, and now he stays an extra month, and now he wants to leave, and Shimon Tainez, wait a second, you stayed an extra month. Now, so that means you started a new year, and the way it works in our place is it goes by a year, and that's how everybody rents it out. So the din is the Shimon Reuven has to stay, or stay and pay, or stay or pay. He has to at least pay. If he doesn't want to stay, he doesn't have to stay, but he has to pay. Let's see the Sma Nishar bebayis chedesh echad. Nira de lav davke chedesh echad. Ela afilo yem echad. Shekol shenichnas bashona hashniya ktsas man ma chayiv l'shalim le'yaseich ba'ad kol hashona. Why? Because that's the way it works in this place. Elisha ma'ase kachaya. So why is he saying chedesh? Because this is the way it was, or maybe also this is the way commonly when somebody would stay, he would stay for another month. V'hichu v'sarosh kosvatur sifyut gimel ein sham. Fine. So lav daf doesn't mean a month, but it means if he stayed past the end of the year, he's now chayiv for the whole new year, because that's the way it works in this place. Hadinim Shimon, right? Meaning with the landlord, which is funny because usually they establish Reuven as the landlord and Shimon as the seicher. But in this case, we're talking about the say. Usually they say Reuven, right? Maskir Reuven bais Shimon. Here they put it the other way around, that Shimon was seicher from Reuven. But anyway, Hadinim Shimon, in this case, the landlord, he means. Did it gilid liskir habotim shna? He's not going to be able to rent it out because anybody who is looking for a house already knows that you have to rent by this time. So it's the same thing of requiring a duh, is that now his house is going to remain empty because you stayed, and now he can't find another tenant because you stayed past the year. He had to tell him, I'm looking to extend for a month. And I mean, obviously, not just he had to tell him, and he had to agree to it, because he could say, at least, it's not worth it for me. Samach achar olav sheyoded b'bayis kimino geir sheseichem abodim lishona v'nischayiv b'schir lishona echad ad kan l'sheni. That's till there the Lashon Hatur is that the guy now can't he can't rent out his house and the property anymore. So now you're chayiv for another whole year because you stayed even one day over the time in such a situation. The Taz says on Chedesh Echad, Kosav Sma v'afilo Yem Echad, v'nil anias daiti da'hainu daf kishederech anshi ha'ir lotis mibati aschilus labatim acherim shesachlem ba'esi hayem. So the Taz is pointing out that what the Sma is talking about, that even Yem Echad, that's dafka when that's the normal way, is that you leave exactly on the time. V'lei ba'akt ba'esi hayem babatim shedaru sham kvar. If it's normal that people take a few days to move out, right? That meaning there's a few days where there's people moving out, moving in, whatever, where everybody's switching properties. in that case was so he's explaining what the Sma is talking about. Would seem to be dafka when that's the minhag hamokim, is that they move out taka on the same day. Then afilu yem echad is mechayev. Okay, that's the same as the Sma. That's the same as the Taz. Okay, so now the Ramah Hagot Shnaim hayu darim bebayis v'hayu chilkim al habayis v'achar kach nischayiv echad badin tzarich lotzeis afilu be'emtza acherev afal pish lo hidiyah chaverim mekedim. What's it talking about, this case? We're talking about two are living in a house, and I guess they're fighting over it, over who owns it. And then the best in Paskins for one of them, and it's the middle of the winter. So the other one says, "Okay, so get out. I look, you're living in my. And that turns out you're living in my house, not I'm living in your house. So get out." Even in the middle of the winter, he doesn't have to give him any notification. He has to move out immediately. Says the Smeh, Afal Pishla Hidiyah Chaverim Mekedim Hatam. The Havalele made them atzmei the kishi is chayiv badin lo yiheh neichel kshenagdi lachzike, because he should already know that if he loses the case, the guy he was just fighting with, he's not gonna want to keep him there. The damya alei ka'adi arava, I don't know, some kind of a lion, something. Vad kan gamkin lo yichziku ela ad shiyotzes chus lo'ed. And furthermore, really, he never had a chazaka on the place. He was staying there in the first place illegally, really. But just we didn't know this. So this is the reason why, in such a case, it doesn't have to give him any notification. This is, I guess, a continuation. Okay, for not this man. Okay. Tes Vav. I wonder if he's doing all the seifim, because not all this wasn't in the sikun, and maybe he's doing all of them now. Okay, Tezvav. Hamaskir ba'is l'shono b'schum yedua v'nisabra shono. Nisabra la seifer. So he's renting a house, and it's a leap year. Obviously, in the American calendar, that only gives you 1 day, but in the in the real calendar, that gives you an extra month. So if it's for a year and it's a leap year, then the seicher gets it for that extra month, because a year is a year. Hiskir l'chadoshim nisabra la maskir. If it was month to month, then the benefit goes to the landlord because I didn't rent it to you for a year. I rented you for months. There's an extra month in here. Well, I rented you month by month. So this what do you want me to tell you? There's 13 months. If he mentioned also months and also year.
12 months a year.
What's that?
He said 12, chodesh shana. We
Yeah,
see that sometimes.
dinar l'chaydish, yud base
He
dinar.
specified, he specified,
Right,
Yud Beis Chodesh Shana, he
right.
said.
He said right. Dinar l'chaydish, yud base dinar b'shana. But he
Yeah,
said also dinar l'chaydish. Bein
yeah.
yud base dinar l'shana, dinar b'kol chaydish. Whichever way he put it. Ari chaydish ha'ibur shel maskir. Why? Because it's a suffix. Which way did it mean? And since the shakarka becheskas ba'aleh, by a suffix you go by the chazaka, and the chazaka
You
is
don't say Hamaitzi Mechaveiro Olavaraya here.
um no because you only say that if the guy taka has the proper possession of it for that month.
You
Meaning
don't say
meaning if he's coming maybe after the fact.
I think if he's a muhzek, you don't say Hamaitzi Mechaveiro Olavaraya.
Well, when you have a chazaka, right?
He's a muhzek. The balabos is a muhzek.
Which is interesting because, in a sense, even though he's a muhsik on the property, why don't we go by the usage? He's the other guy's the muhsik on the usage.
I was thinking about that, but you know why not? For the very self same reason that we said previously, that even if he's the soicher is like a lokeach, or but the guf habinyan belongs to him
Yeah, that's
still.
right. The etzem karka
I think that has everything to do. Why don't say here Meitzi Mechaber and ich kann
is a muhsik.
is a muhzak, nicht is a muhzak. Du bist nicht Meitzi von ihm. Du bist der, was halt der Haus. I think
Right.
so.
Now, when you have a chazaka, it's not what's it called? Yeah, then you have to.
Then you don't say yeah he has to bring a raya for
Very
what
good.
he's a muhzak of. You know what I'm saying?
Right, very good. Okay, so let's look at the Smeh Nisabru Laseicher Betur Kosav Al Zeh Zel Sheni because of so this is the Losh Natur. The Kosav Arash Bazel Sheni Bamedvar Mamurim Kisha Omad Bereisha Shana Ve'omer Li Shana Zu.
So what are you saying now?
The Smeh Chav Gimu.
Yeah. Kosa Batur, al Zel Shem, Kosa Rashba, Bamed Varim Amurim, Kisha Omad, Beresh Shana, Veomer Le Shana Zu,
Right.
Inami Hashona, the Kaimelon, the Have Kamer Shana Zu.
The Havik Emish Shana Zu. Right.
Hashona, yeah,
Meaning,
the
right,
year,
Shana, right.
this year or this, yeah, Hashona, this year or this year.
Right. The same thing. Right? So Avol im Emer Le Shana Achas Ein Loi Ela Yud Beis Chidish. Kireiv Shanim She'enim Ubaris. So the Rashba is adding, or well, he's not really adding because he could be explaining because the lotion of the mechaber, which is the lotion of the tur, is dinner ba shana, which is the same as shana zu. So he's pointing out that the wording that the tur is using is important because if he said shana achas, right, yud based dinner b'shana achas, rather than bashana or bashana zu. Then you go after Reiv Shonim, which is not Mubaris. Ad kam l'sheni. V'amechaber hishmite. V'gam merein Rav Moshe So also the Rama also didn't mention it. This Rashba. והוא מטעם שבס יסף תoma על הטור. שכוסבי. וכוסף דהרש בגופה. like כוסף כן אלו להלוכה. אבל למעשה כוסף הרש בעצמי, לינוי כשאור גאינים קדמיינים שלא יחילקו בזה.
I would have written an P over here.
Where?
Because of the P the Rash begufa. Lo kosof elo lehalocha. אבל למעשה כוסף הרש בעצמו לינו כשהגאונים קדמיינים שלא יחילקו בזה.
I think it flows the way he says it.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's saying that what's it called? That the Beis Yosef says that the Rashba himself only wrote it.
Lehalocha, aber nicht, also nicht wie mit 40.
Right. Just to bring that, by the way, like basically as Mizalvisn Sada Yeshem Lemazi.
Uh-huh.
But Lane doesn't hold this way.
Schreibt Lehalocha, aber mit 40 nicht so.
Yeah, meaning la halacha does mean just we should know that there's chiluk halacha in this basically. The weird word is that he uses it la halacha because la halacha sounds like he's paskening like this.
That's what I'm saying.
But which is fun. But what he means here is that he's just writing it to bring down the different halachas in the thing, but it's a funny.
Like I said, okay, this is the Hergish. I would have written an P over here.
I would have taken out the Ella.
Yeah, Enochanami.
Like Kosav Kain la halacha. The Ella is the funny word here.
I know, because it's like giving it importance.
Right, he wrote la halacha means like as I would say that Rashba Gufa like Kosav Kain ke halacha. Aval lemaisa kosav Rashba asmi lina kishor geinim kadmeinim shloi chilku bazeh. But in either case, that's what he's saying is pashut, but it's just it is slightly a lashon megumgam. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
The oid hevi abeiseisev adar ki Moshe kamadeyes shaloi chilku bein shana zulistam. The ani hisafti tamiyah neisaf al tamiyah abeiseisev. V'hu the divrei Rabbeinu ba'atzmei ma shekosov kan lema shekosov b'yeridei simin reish chaf le'inyin nidarim seisrin zu. What does he write there in Hilchos Nedarim? Shekasav zel l'sheni haya oimi teich hashana ve'omar shana zu asur ad tashlum hashana umuter b'yom reish hashana v'chulu ad omar shana achas oy shana stam asur me'es la'es. Then it goes to the whole year, an entire year.
We have more or finish?
It wasn't good. Something wrong with it.
Throw it out.
I did.
And the im shana me'uberes also yud gimel chedesh miyem yem. Meaning if he doesn't say shana zu, if he says shana achas or shana.
What's the hechatimsa which the Beis Yosef brings over there? I don't really understand it.
Well, he's talking. So he's talking where which part of the Beis Yosef?
About when he says shekosov zel l'sheinek hayom etich hashana.
Is that who's? I don't know who's talking. Who's he referring to as Rabbeinu?
That's what usually Rabbeinu, he talks about the Ramah, usually he calls him Rabbeinu. But I think over here it's a Beis Yosef.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense that it would be the Ramah here because the Ramah wasn't, because he hasn't brought him as so. So what does it mean?
Yeah, no, so I say here it doesn't make sense, but it's
Talking
it's a
about the
Beis
Torah,
Yosef.
or the Mechaber.
Mechaber, yeah.
Yeah.
ואני עצרתי את עצמי את הבייס יוסף, דהו דידי רבנו בעצמוי, מה שכתוב כאן, the Tmi of the Beis
Meaning,
Yosef is
no, so that makes
based
sense
on
because the Beis Yosef is the Mechaber.
the Mechaber, yeah, it's
So
based on this,
right.
based
So
on
therefore, he's bringing what the Mechaber says in Yeridea, and bringing a Tamiyah on this on what he writes in the Beis Yosef.
correct.
Fine. Okay, that makes sense.
מה שכתוב כאן, מה שכתוב בירדייס,
Basically, over there we see Klud. We see Klud that the Mechaber himself is mechalik between the lashon of Shana Zu or Hashana and Shana Achas. That if he said Shana Zu, right? This is by Nedarim, right? If I make a neder, make a neder, whatever. Let's say I make a neder. I'm going to give you $1 every day, Hashana Zu.
when did he make this neder? What
middle
point
of the
of
year.
time?
Nice.
At the beginning of the year?
Let's say whatever, yeah, in middle of year or something.
Year, in middle of the year. Okay, Shine.
And I say Shana Zu. It only goes till the end of the year. And then on Rosh Hashanah, he's potted. I don't have to give you $1 anymore. If I said Shana or Shana Achas, I have to give you Me'es Le'es. Furthermore,
right.
If it's a Shana Me'ubedes, the Eis Le'es is going to be a 13-month Me'es Le'es. So we see clearly that the Mechaber Alein is Mechalik.
With Shana Zu and all the others.
And all the others. And Shana, and he combines, interestingly, Shana and Shana Achas. Where here he's combining Shana Zu and Hashana. Although it could be different if he's saying Hashana or Bashana. But in either case, where the whole point here is he's saying the Beis Yosef himself holds Ein Chiluk Bein Shana Zu Lishana Stam. But here we see the Mechaber Paskins in Nedarim Asidah Chiluk Take.
Correct.
We see that by a neder he's mechalik between Shana Zu and Stam and any other lashon. Vevesi loshn arashba the lomad meisur lemamin v'ipcha v'svilei d'shavenheim. So he brings a rash. Vevesi. I'm guessing this is in the I don't know, the Prisha or the Drisha or somewhere where he does this when he says Hevesi. But he brings the Lashon Harash, which implies that Isur, right? Because Nedarim is a matter of Isur, and Karka is a matter of Mamin. So if you want to tell me, oh well, that's by Isurim and that's by Mamin. So he brings from the Rashba that shows that would imply that by Isurim and Mamin, it would be the same. There would be no reason to differentiate. That by one you would be you would be mechalik between the Lashonis and one you wouldn't. The Yoshafti Esakel b'siyata dishmaya b'yishuv no mekubal. So obviously he feels very positively about how he's brings it all together to make sense. Muchach minei ubei. And it's proven from within Ilaya, meaning it's Pashat ironclad. He brings an ironclad for the whole thing, for this whole Inyan. V'hu shekan hitzchil v'kosav zel sheni b'med dvar mamurim she'omad bereisha shona v'omar v'chulu. Svirole,
What is the basic question of this Shmeh? That you see here in the Mechaber, they says Lashon plain without making Lashon Zu, and it's all the same thing. Is that the basic question?
he's not mechalik.
No, Mechalik. The basic question: how come over here is Mechalik and elsewhere he is Mechalik?
And he asked on the first he asked on the right. The Rashba says, "Oh, we're mechalik," and he says no. Right? He says no, and he argues on the Rashba and says no, we're not mechalik. And
The
even
Rashba
himself,
said
even the
is
Rashba
only.
himself really holds we're not mechalik.
How does he? No, but no
Hang on a
questions
second.
asked.
We see the Bes Yosef himself in Yeda Deya, the mechaber is mechalik. So how?
I look at this Rashba. I have the Rashba here. I can look at it. Did he say Lin Hoy Keshara Gainim or the Mechaber is saying this?
No, this is
No,
he's saying Aval Lemaise Kosav Rashba Atzmei Lin Hoy Kishar Gainim. He's saying the Rashba himself. He says clear that in the end he paskins not like that.
not. I have it right here. I'm Simon Kuf Lamed.
So he's not understanding. So the question really is the Beis Yosef. It was he had Tamiyah on the tour. That why did the tour bring this Rashba when the Rashba himself doesn't hold this way? Right?
Yeah.
The Smeh adds, I have a bigger shaila. Let's forget the tour. The Beis Yosef Alain seems to say in the Darim that there's a chiluk. That's a bigger question. Meaning the Beis Yosef, who himself has a tamiyah on the tour about this, himself does the same thing.
He says like this. The lotion is after he goes through everything that he says over there. I have a Rashba over here.
Yeah.
But by the way, the Shaila was Oy Chalti Hodet Detnan Hamaskir Baisa Chaveiro Leshon Misabro Hashono Misabro Lesoy Chirim Beimer Shono Zu Davka Nisabro Iso Shono Oyafilu Beimer Shono Achas O Meachshov. That's the mamish the kash over here. That's the after he goes into all the motions that we did already. I'm not going to repeat. The lotion is the last bottom line, as I say. אבל מה אעשה וחבריי ורבויסי חולקים עליי והרב רבנו מוישה בן מימון ז"ל גם הוא כוסף ביום ראשון האחר שהוא עושה בחודש העיבור ולמעשה אנו מבטלים דעתנו מפני דעתם.
Right,
He
but
said it himself.
so in the
All
end,
in here.
yeah, beautiful. So now the Smeh is going to answer. Is going to answer how is going to. He says he says that he brought. I'm guessing in the Prisha Drisha or somewhere. That's
Yeah.
What do you mean? That he settles the whole thing in a nice way. That's solid. That we can go by. Shekan hischil v'kosav. That here he started and wrote. I believe he means the Rashba because it's the Loshna Rashba. Like the Rashba says, "Bamed dvarim amurim she'omad bereish hashona ve'omar v'chulu." Svirolei, dikishom bereish hashona ve'omar shona achas oy shona stam. Yiyeh ze muskar loch oy asur. Right, either whether we're talking about rental or money.
Nedarim or schiris.
Right.
Isurim or mominous.
Right, either way, right, in both situations. Oz vaday daita hoya de loya chidush sheibur bichlal. The e have a daita gamkin olav have a leile meimar shonazu.
So hold on a second. So what is it? Does it include the year of the Rosh Hashanah he's talking or not?
He's talking about that we're talking about it's right in the beginning of the year. That it's on
Rosh Hashanah, let's say.
Right? So
You're talking about Rosh Hashanah,
right.
Aleph Tishrei.
Right, and since it's on Hashanah, now how he's doing a deal in Dinim Mominus and Rosh Hashanah, I don't know, different story.
Das darf fragen,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
How he do it. But
Since
what
it's
the mice was,
Rosh Hashanah, if he would have meant this calendar year, so bevada, since it's Rosh Hashanah, he would have said Shana Zu.
So what does he mean?
Right, so elavadai lahachi dikdek leimar Shana Stam Shana Achas. So it must be when he said a year or whatever, Stam.
A full year.
Right, or Shana Achas. So he was medaktik to say it that way. Legales daite shekavanose al Stam Shana. The einay ragelius me'obar.
And since that year is Shana Me'uba, it doesn't mean that year.
Right. So had he meant that year, he would have said Shana Zu. It's on Rosh Hashanah. The usual thing to say in the beginning, right? Okay, or let's say it's the same Gedalia. Let's, for argument's sake, so that it's the thing. But the normal thing to say would for this calendar year would have been Shana Zu, because you're standing at the beginning of the year. So the fact that he said Shana Achas or Shana Stam, it's
Are we medakdek
this year.
Are we medakdek the? I don't think so. By the way, I'm just thinking out loud. Are we medakdek that the year started already or not? It doesn't seem like it.
So this is what he's saying. He's saying there's a difference when you said it at the beginning of the year or not.
This is, I think, even though the beginning of the year started, but it's still considered beginning in the year.
He's picking on those things.
I don't think it would have been a problem if it would have been 12 months.
If it was a 12-month year?
If it was a 12-month year, it's about getoik. The only reason it doesn't work out is because of the thing of 13 months.
So then even if you say this way, there's no nafkamina about.
By 12 months, it wouldn't have been enough kamina, exactly.
Right, it wouldn't be enough kamina. What's the difference? The problem
But I'm saying something else. I'm saying that the fact that it's already, the year started already, is not a problem. Because we say that, it's within the year, the whole year, I think.
It's the beginning of the year, whether he's saying.
The beginning of the year. I don't think some Gedalia would have worked, but if you say that,
so I'm not sure exactly what he considers.
No, I think,
or maybe he means Erev Rosh Hashanah in the afternoon.
That I can hear.
Let's say it that way. Let's say it's Erev Rosh Hashanah in the afternoon. So we're already clearly not talking about. We can't be talking about last year. Right? If I'm telling you,
but even Rosh Hashanah, that's the Chiddush. Now it makes sense. Because the Chiddush is that even though it's Erev Rosh Hashanah, right? Und der Jahr hat sich noch nicht angefangen, right? It didn't start yet the year. And you could have drayed and said that it means this tomorrow because he didn't say Zu or Ze or so that's why.
Even if he says Shana Zu, let's say Erev Rosh Hashanah and he says Shana Zu, but we're clearly talking about the next year, right?
This year, well, tomorrow.
We mean tomorrow. This coming up year.
Yeah.
Right? Had he meant the 13 months, he certainly would have said it that way. The fact that he said Shana Achas or Shana Stam is Megala He means 12 months, not the calendar year. Why? Because the normal way to say it when we're making a deal on Erev Rosh Hashanah would have been Shana Zu. Because it's now the start of the year. So the usual way to say would be Shana Zu. From the fact
that would mean tomorrow, right?
That would mean this upcoming year.
This I come
from tomorrow, meaning from now until next Chavtes Elu.
That's Shana Zu.
Yeah, no matter how many months is in between, no matter their Mali Chassid, who cares? It's from now until next Chavtes Elu. If I said
Shana Zu. Since he didn't use the word Shana Zu.
Right, so he's saying it's not the Stam he didn't use Shana Zu. We're seeing from this that he was medakdek to not say Shana Zu, because he's being megal das that his kavana is not for the whole Shana Mubaris. He's being megal das that he means like a regular year, 12-month period.
So what did he use to denote the next year?
Meaning to denote that it's with Mubaris or unmubaris.
No, Yud Beschedish.
He just said Shana or Shana Achas. I'm renting this to you for a year, or I'm renting this to you for 1 year.
Interesting.
Right, and
I don't want to start draining you, but what about in a case?
The same difference.
What about in a case where it's Yud Beschedish that year? He's Erev Rosh Chodesh. Then there's no nafkamina.
It's still, but
right?
There's no nafkamina because both will fall out the same.
It would mean the coming one.
Only when it's a Shana Mu'beres that.
Yeah.
And by the way, it could be that he still means 12 months, but he and the fact that 12 months is the same as the calendar year, but he doesn't care. It just happens to be that Azayis does.
Yeah.
He's talking nafkamina, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Very good.
What is it? When he said it in Yeredeya, however, what was his lashon? His lashon there was Eimid b'teich hashana. That in middle of the year, that there's no difference in the lashonis. Meaning that difference in lashon is after when we're standing at the beginning of the year. Then how I say it is megala das, because if I say Shana Zu, being that it's now it's Zot Rosh Hashanah, so by Shana Zu I obviously mean the Hey Tavshin Pei Vav ich mean, being that we're standing at the beginning of Tavshin Pei Vav, and if I say it the other way, I'm megala das that no, I mean for 12 months. Whereas when he was talking about Isurim, it's not that he's being mechalik because it's Isurim. That by Mammon is like this and Isurim is like this. By both would be the same. The difference is we're talking about a different case. We're talking about is they're making the deal, or he's taking upon himself the Isur in middle of the year. And you see in his lashon that here he says Eimid B'Rosh Hashanah. There he says Eimid B'Teich Hashana.
So in the case when Be'emtza Hashana, what's the din?
On Rosh Hashanah, if it's by Rosh Hashanah, it's by the beginning of the year.
No, Be'emtza Hashana.
Be'emtza Hashana, there's no chiluk between the lashonis because Shana Zu doesn't mean anything. It only is the term Shana Zu only really means something when we're Eimid B'Rosh Hashanah.
Right. And only when it's aimed on Rosh Hashanah, Erev Rosh Hashanah, Shana Mu'beres, it makes a difference.
Right.
Otherwise, it also doesn't make a difference.
Meaning it always means the same thing, but there's no nafkamina.
Apart from the case of Shana Mu'beres, this is the rule of thumb, as they say, right? It's always from that year till the end of the year, whether you start with Rosh Hashanah or you start on Chodesh in the middle of the year, Chodesh Tammuz. It's always till the end of the year.
Well, then it's always going to mean 12 months. No,
till the end of the year.
It's always going to mean, what was it by? It's always going to mean me'es leis. Yeah, until the same tairich next year. Yeah,
in all cases, right?
Yeah. By Mammon, by Karka, everything.
It doesn't make it say if you say Shana or Shana Zu.
No difference, right? It's gonna be metayrich l'tayrich, right? Me'es leis. The same tayrich.
It's interesting that you say Shana Meila, but Shana Zu is mashma Tovshin Pei Vav, nicht später, no? It doesn't mean that.
So, that's a whole different question. If it's here, I'll tell you the difference. Because you're right. There's if we say Shana Zu and it's a month before, I can kick you out on the right. We had that we spoke about this. I can kick you out. Here, I'll tell you the difference between that. There, it wasn't clear what time period we were talking. You know, when it came up when he prepaid. Remember, he prepaid Lashon Zu. And Taisva says the rest was a gift.
Das ich nicht.
Right,
It's a machloike. It's a
Right, but fine. But there's a big difference that case in this case. Here,
Yeah.
Here it's clear that we mean for a year. There, it's not clear what time period we're talking about Bichlal. And we're trying to figure out, does it even mean for a year? Here, we're for sure we're talking about a year. The question is only, what do we mean by a year? Do we mean a year me'es le'es, or do we mean Yud Beis Chedesh? That's the only question here. Here, we're certainly talking about a year. There's no room to argue that we're talking about less than some kind of year.
Yeah.
So here, at the minimum, we're talking Yud Beis Chedesh. There, we were talking with no minimums. So in that case, Shana Zu could mean just we made the deal on Rosh Chodesh Av. It means 2 months, because we're not talking about where we have a set minimum to the understanding here. Here we're starting off with the understanding that it's definitely a Shana, and by a Shana we mean either Yud Beis Chodesh, or in the Shana Muberes do we mean Yud Gimel Chodesh? That's the only question here. So that's the. But yeah, Taki, you're right. Shana Zu, in a case where we don't even know that it means a year, could mean not even a year. It could mean mamish just the end of this calendar year.
If you ask me, the mashmos of the word Shana Zu means till the end of this calendar year.
Right, and that's why Ba'emet B'Rosh Hashanah, the implication, why? Only because in this case we know we're definitely talking about
exactly, and that's why when it's not Erev Rosh Hashanah Shel Shana Muberes, when it's a middle of a year, of any kind of year, Muberes and Ish Muberes, in the middle of the year, it means till the end of the year.
So it depends.
By Shana Zu, if it's in the middle of the year.
Yeah, if it means until the end of this year. I mean, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 months, but not in this case. In other cases, yeah. In this case, because we know we're talking about a minimum of 12 months, so in the middle of the year, Shana Zu means nothing, and it means the same as Shana Achas and Shana. But when we're standing on by Rosh Hashanah, then there's a difference between what Shana Zu and Stam Shana and Shana Achas means. But if it's in the middle of the year, and we know I'm clearly not talking about 6 months, so then we say it's like always, it's Meis Le'es we're talking.
Yeah, but you know something, Meis Le'es, only if you use the Lashon, if you omit the words Zu, the word Zu.
Yeah.
You can't use the word Zu and have 12 months in that year.
So it depends. If it's on Rosh Hashanah, then you can't. Then if you're using Shana Zu, then you mean 13 months. But the fact that you didn't use Shana Zu,
yeah, but I'm saying in a case where
it must have meant 12 months. But Stamazay,
yeah,
Shana, that lashon doesn't hold the same weight when it's not.
If you get up on Tammuz and you say Shana Zu, it clearly means till Tishrei. It means 3 months.
So it depends. Not here. Not here.
Where?
In the case like we spoke about before of when he prepaid, but that's because prepaying is not Megaladas.
Yeah. But I'm saying Stam, right? No prepayment, Stam, a case where
again, it depends. It will depend. It depends if we're talking about a case that could be less than 12 months. In our case, if you look at the Lishanis, we're talking about minimum 12 months. So we can't say that. That's because he said Shana Yud Beis Chodesh. So I'm saying we can't say in this case, this particular case, in general, you're right. In this particular case, it's different than other cases. It's different in the fact that we have to say we're talking about minimum Yud Beis Chodesh. The question here is only does it also include the 13th month? But it's certain that the year that we were talking about for at least a 12-month year. In other cases, in most cases probably, you're right. If you say Shana Zu can mean 3 months, or it can mean 2 months. If Rosh Chodesh Av, it means 2 months till the end of this year. But we're talking here a case where it can't possibly mean that. And therefore, the only question is, does it mean 12 months or does it mean 13 months? Like to the end of the calendar year. So since it can't possibly mean 2 months, in our case, in our specific case, so if you said it in the middle of the year, Shana Zu, it means the same as Shana Stam, and it's Meis Leis. It's until this Tairich next year. Why? Because we're not standing on Rosh Hashanah. So Shana Zu doesn't have implications. It's I Stam said it that way. But if we're standing on Rosh Hashanah, where Shana Zu is generally when you talk on Rosh Hashanah of this coming up year, you say Shana Zu. So also in that case, if I didn't say Shana Zu, I'm being mashma that Shana Zu, I'm being mashma Shana 12 Chodesh as opposed to Shana Zu shel Yud Gimel Chodesh. So that's how the Smeh answers up his Tamiya on the Bes Yosef. That the Bes Yosef is talking about two different cases. There where he says that whether you say Shana Zu, whether you say Shana Achas, whether you say Shana, it's all mi Eis le'eis, is because it was Amid be'emtza Shana. Right there in the Mechaber Yeridea. Whereas here in the Bes Yosef, he's talking about Amid al Rosh Hashanah, and there's a difference in the Lashonis between Amid al Rosh Hashanah or Amid be'emtza Hashanah. That Amid al Rosh Hashanah, Shana Zu we're gonna be mechalik bein Shana Zu and Shana Stam, but be'emtza Hashanah we're not mechalik between these Lashonis because it's dafke Amid al Rosh Hashanah where people are makbid on such language. Whereas the rest of the year, they'll use them interchangeably.
And and then would it mean Meis Leis?
And then, if it's not Eimin Del Rosh Hashanah, says the Smeh, it would always mean La'is La'is.
Even if he said Shana
So
Zu?
why here? So wait a second. Why here is he mechalik? Because Eimin Del Rosh Hashanah, it's different. By Eimin Del Rosh Hashanah, we're mechalik bein l'shenis. So that's what he focuses on. He focuses on, wait, are we mechalik or are we not mechalik? And how does the Beis Yosef himself here say we're mechalik, and there he says we're not? And he says, because he holds that Eimid al Rosh Hashanah we're mechalik, and be'emtza Hashanah we're not mechalik. Here we're talking Eimid al Rosh Hashanah, as we see clear in the Lashon, and there in Yeridea the Mechaber is talking about Eimid be'emtza Hashanah when we're not mechalik. So everything falls in place. He's not saying it, it's Atzmei. Right, so over there, Hisik B'Sei Chashan V'Chulu, V'Ol Meisik V'Kosav, the Im Omar Shana Achas Shana Stam Kavanos Yud Gimel Chadashim. Why? The Be'emet Be'emtza Shana Le'Havi Matzi Le'Meimar Shana Zu Yizem Muskar Lach Asur Lach. The Im Kain have a mashma the Ein Kavanos Irak Ad Kolei Sashana Zu the Hainu Ad Rosh Hashanah. V'Hu Reitz LaHaskir Oilasir the Shana Tamima. Right, Mishum Hachi, right? Again, we're talking about a case where we're clearly talking about at least a year. So we can't say in the middle of the year that he's talking only till Rosh Hashanah. Mishum hachi hutzrach leimer shana achas shana stam. Va'av sheberan mashma she'ina mechalik b'hachi. Even though the Ran, it sounds like he's not mechalik on this. Meaning, I guess that the Ran is not mechalik even Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
Ta'asatur hu lefarish divrei harash b'kein kedei shelo yistru dvarav zu azu. ובזה מיושב כל התמיהס שהיקשה בסייסף ודרכי משה, ואשר ערערתי כנ"ל, and with this, you can answer the question of also that the Besyesif and Darkei Moshe brought, and also the additional question that the Smeh brought on the Besyesif.
It seems that he's really mechulek with the Smeh is mechulek with the Mechaber.
So the Smeh, he holds that the Mechaber well, he doesn't say if he agrees with him or not.
I'll tell you why, because the Mechaber was Shosim Devorov.
His problem is just that there's that, meaning he doesn't answer what he holds. All he answers is he says there's a stira between the Mechaber and himself, and he answers why it's no stira. He's telling you what the Mechaber holds. That the
I thought he meant to say that there's a stira within the Rashba himself. No.
It wasn't so much a stira. It was he was a tmiya on the Rashba, yeah. It was a tmiya on the Rashba.
I think that the tmiya was more the tmiya on the Rashba than I think, you know.
Well, there was a tmiya on the Rashba, and then he brought even stronger, because the tmiya on the Rashba is just a tmiya on the Rashba.
Yeah, but then the Mechaber itself.
The Mechaber is more because he's how are you having such a tmiya on the Rashba when you yourself in Yeredeya, right? And B, you're being seisir it's atzmecha. It's a bigger tmiya because he's being seisir himself. At least the Rashba, the question is at haltazay or at haltazay? Vi halter this way or that way. The Besyesif, you're it's a tmiya. You're being seisir it's atzmecha between here and Yeredeya. But in this way he answers all of it. That we're talking about two different situations. We're talking about over here. We're talking about Amid al Rosh Hashanah, and there we're talking about Amid be'emtza Hashanah. And here and by Amid al Rosh Hashanah, there's makom lechalik ben l'shenis, and Amid Hashanah there's no makom lechalik on the l'shenis.
When it says Ascholas Hashona yesh lechalik, does it mean to say between Yud Beis and Yud Gimel, or in Yud Gimel Gufa?
On where?
Ascholas Hashona.
Bascholas Hashana. So then he's saying so that right Hashana me'uber, right? Because again, we on the problem would only come up.
Then you mechalik whether you use one lashon or the other lashon.
If I said Shana Zu,
that means Yud
I
Gimel
mean
Chodesh.
13 Chodashim. If I said Stam Shana, so I mean it as opposed to Shana Zu, right?
Yeah.
When it's the Emtza Shana Zu has no mashmo, so it can't be as opposed to.
Yeah.
So then Shana Zu gets lumped in with everything else. But
Right.
now that we're on the Rosh Hashanah of Shana and Muberes,
Yeah.
my Shana Zu means this year, and the fact that I'm not saying Shana Zu means that I'm dafke saying that to exclude Shana Zu, to exclude the Yud Gimel Chadashim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
ועין עד בדרישה, מה שכספתי עד מזה, וכן נראה לי הזדייתי, נוח מדינה. See, he knew he'd ask. Right? Because up until now, he was just explaining to other people. He wasn't giving an opinion. So now he gives an opinion.
He was explaining the steers, and he says, Al Pi, the way I was Miyashiv the steers, that's the
I hold the taka, this is the halacha. That Aymed al Rosh Hashanah, there's going to be a difference between L'shainis. Be'emtza Hashanah, there's not going to be a difference between L'shainis. So that's how the Smeh paskins.
Right.
It's not Paskins, Azevi at his metaritz. And according to him, the Tur of the Rashba, everybody holds this way.
Fine.
Besides for maybe the Yesh Emrim in the Rashba. But yeah, good. Okay, a few more minutes. I guess we'll finish the Ramah one. Let me see. No, let's do the further in the.
Is anything on the Shach over here?
Yeah, there is a Shach here,
You Dalit, right?
and there's also more of the in the Smeh. First of all, there's going to be also Yud Gimel, but I guess let's continue the Smeh. Smech of Dalid.
Let's do the Smeh, and then if we don't finish today, we'll
Right,
do tomorrow.
then we'll continue. I think the Smeh we can continue. We can finish today, and then tomorrow.
And the Shach we'll do tomorrow.
Shach is long, so maybe we'll do the Shach tomorrow.
Okay, weiter.
Okay, so Hiskir lachadoshim nisabru lamaskir. Zehu pshita. Right? Ela mishum seifa nokta. The only reason he brings it down is as opposed to the seifa. Why? Because it's pshita if we're going month to month. That Azay says. Inami lamdeinu. Ba. What is it? Din. The lamdeinu. Ba the late tema miyachre shechidish ibor eina ela lamalis chot shalavana. Harihu kishilim lei be'ad kol yud beis chidish miashona.
You might the Havamina was
Have
like this.
yes, yeah.
Havamina, what's a Havamina to say that Yud Gimel Chedesh should be included?
Yeah.
It comes to tell you because since the extra month comes to be Mashlim the Yud Beis
Master
Chodesh,
the Yud Beis.
so it should be part and parcel.
Also in the Imamanis, since he's doing Yud Beis, the Chedesh that's Mashlim them is also Mashlim is Yud Beis.
Right. So then
you
Havamina was that the 13 months should also be included, right?
Which is a nicer way of learning it out, because the first way is Stam. Since in the Sefer he's saying he's just saying it to contrast the Sefer. Here he's giving you actually a Havamrinan that I would think otherwise because of this. Yeah. So Kamash Malon, no, it goes to the maskid. You only get the 12 months that you paid for.
So a good question in the test would be, what's the Havamina to include 13 months?
Right.
Right. Comes to canon.
When they specified Yud Beis Chadoshim, what's the Havamina to?
The 13 months should be
should be included. Chafei Hizkid Loi Chadoshim V'Shana Bein Sha'omar V'Chulu Hai Shana Dika Omar Mairi the Omad Bereish Shana V'Omar Hashana Ei Shana Zu the canal La Rashba. The Oz im Omar Shana Lechud V'Loi Chedesh Haya Chedesh Iber B'Chlal Valderech Shegosafti, right? Because
I'm sorry. I'm going back to that Smeh. smuchim mean when he says shona yud beis chodesh, that
Yeah, because so he's saying that
he said
mighty.
it like
He's reminding us that if he says Chadosh and Vishana, right?
yeah,
So it's mighty what the Sha'amad B'Rosh Hashanah, because if not that we're standing on Rosh Hashanah, then of course the Chedesh Ibur would be Bechlal, because Be'emtza Hashanah we go Me'es La'es. So it goes from that Taidich to that Taidich.
right,
So he's basically just reminding us what he just told us in the other one, that
yeah,
just reminding you we're talking about Eimid B'Reish Hashanah when we're saying this.
right.
What is it? Nun Yud. Perek HaSheil.
Where are you looking at now?
In Chofei. Sma Chofei.
Hi, Shana de Ka'omer, Mighty Dom Shana Omer, Shana Zu, Rashba. דאז אימאם חודש היו בכלל לדרך שכסבתי. יום שונו לחוד ולא חודש, היו חודש העיבור בכלל בדרך שכתוב.
Right, because Eimid Be'emtza Hashanah is automatically Meis Leis. So for sure it would include the Chedesh Ibur. So when we're saying it does not include the Chedesh Ibur, it's we're talking about Eimid B'Reish Hashanah Dafke. He's talking about. He's just reminding us that we're talking about Eimid B'Reish Hashanah here, because if not, it wouldn't be the same halacha.
I wonder who Beni is.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's something. It's one of them. It's on Perek HaSheil. What's it called? It was just Nun Yud. Over there he says, "Hadim isapkolon dafka the kol halashin is smuchin hein zelazeh." This that we have this whole suffix here. Do we go by what he said about the month, or do we go by what he said about the year? Right? He's mixing it all together. It could mean what does he mean?
Yeah.
So the whole suffix here is only when there's smuchin zelazeh. Aval im ein smuchin zelazeh lekuli alma ha'achrin ikar ukedamrin gabish tarchiv. Right? If he told him on one occasion Shana, and one occasion he told him Kol Chedesh. So
Yud Beis Chodesh.
right, Yud Chedesh. So it depends which one came first. Whichever one was last, we go by. Here, what's our problem? Is he's saying it all at one shot. Because if he would have said it not at one shot, everybody would agree. Everybody would agree that we go by the last thing he said. Okay, so we will continue Mirz Hashem.
Yep.
I guess Smachavav, and we'll do the Shach, and we have to do the Ramah still.
Yeah, on
Yeah,
Tesvav.
and then we'll go weiter. How much we get?
How did we get? How far did we get with him? Do you remember? I don't remember even.
But we last time we got through Ches.
Really?
Already what we did today and what we did yesterday is already that was probably stuff that we're going to go over this year.
They didn't know until
maybe he'll even answer up some of the questions that we had.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna instead of asking in shir, I think I'm gonna just text him and that's it.
Because Lav Dafka is he going to get into such the Lashonis.
Yeah. Shkoyach, thank you very much, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Morgen, yeah,
Tomorrow 10 a.m.
Same time and of course the same place.
I'm gonna set an alarm, a daily alarm now.
Yeah.
My apologies, Mendel. You have to give me a reminder today.
That's fine. I'm not.
I just get tired. I'm not an accountant, so I'm on the phone sometimes with my clients. You know, and I'm at their mercy. They call me. You know what I'm saying, and I have to take the call. Zelfs mich entschuldigen. Anyway, Bracha behatzlacha. Thank you so much for for the show. It's beautiful.
This is it's. I wrote to the Rebbe.
No.
I was writing about Poshet, that how essentially listen, you have to make a parnasa, but business is mafriya to limit that Torah. And the Rebbe answered in Igris. He answered miteich shemekayim limud Torah me'eni sefer l'kayim ba'isha. In other words, push yourself. Taka. Sometimes you'll have to deal with somebody being mafriya in the middle, but you'll go and do it, and you'll see that
I once
will make you the space with a good partner, also with everything, and he'll remove the people from bothering you.
I want to tell you something. I was zoiche once in my lifetime to go to Yechidus to the Rebbe alone, and Label told me I go in for a minute, and afterwards I should leave.
Yeah. Meaning, even the Rebbe won't tell you. But
yeah, just leave. But the Rebbe went on and on and on. He started speaking to me, Barichus. I stayed there like over 15, 20 minutes easy, which is a very long time. It was in tough It was 3 months before the heart attack. It was a long time. They only let me in because I was never there before. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let me in. But anyway, but the coming to the Chelek, the Rebbe spoke about a lot of topics with me. Nishi at the Zeit.
Yeah.
When he came to Limud Torah, he assumed a different tone in the room. It was like, now I'm going to talk. Like he didn't tell me that, but as if definitely he was telling me. Now
there was a different.
Now I'm going to talk to you about something very critical. Like he didn't tell me, but that's what it sounded.
Now that we got this small stuff out of the way, let's talk about the real thing here.
He said, "Was das ist der Iker von der Woche in Temchet Mimim." He really let me have it. Like buckle up, tighten the screws, whatever. Interpret it however you want.
Right.
But I will never forget that. And another time I'll tell you, by the way, I hope when you do the thing, you can edit this part. I don't want necessarily that this part should go in the YouTube.
The next
in
part.
the YouTube. In what I'm telling you now.
Hold on. So let me